Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Gila Riveri and today I'll be teaching you everything you need to know about the LSAT-Flex. Let's get right into it. At this point, you should already have an LSAC account. Of course, everyone needs an LSAC account, which is the Law School Admissions Council. You need an account on that site to be able to take the LSAT. And then when you want to register for the LSAT-Flex, it's just like when you wanted to register for the regular LSAT. You go to the home page of LSAC, then you go to the LSAT tab, and then you click Register for the LSAT. After filling out all your information for registering for the LSAT, you'll be asked to choose the closest test center to you. Just pick the closest one. I know it might be confusing as to why you're picking a test center even though you're taking it online at home. I was really confused at first too, but just pick the closest one and then it will get disregarded because it'll be Flex. Sometimes they do this because they're not sure that that month is going to be LSAT-Flex, but for the next few months at least, everything's going to be Flex. So just pick the closest test center and then it won't matter. The next step would be to make a ProctorU account. ProctorU is the system used to take over your laptop's interface when you're taking the exam because somebody is going to be making sure you're not opening any tabs, going on any sites, looking at any pictures on your laptop, and there will also be a live proctor actually watching you through ProctorU. And you will be able to ask any questions you have, and they're also going to be recording you the entire time, so they want to evaluate the video afterwards as well. You will get an email 2 weeks prior to taking your exam in order to sign up for a time slot through ProctorU. You can pick the date because now that the LSAT-Flex is online and you can take it basically at home, you can pick the day. There's a week span, I believe. You can pick the day and time that you want to take it. Obviously it's first come first serve, but you won't be able to do it until about 2 weeks before the actual testing date. Okay, now onto the exam details. The original LSAT used to be 5 35-minute sections consisting of 2 logical reasoning sections, about 25 to 26 questions each section, and then 1 logic game section, which is 23 questions, 1 reading comprehension section, which is 27 questions, and then 1 experimental section, which is they just pick 1 out of the 3 sections. You get an extra one of that, and it's not scored. That used to not be scored. You would take 3 of the sections in random order, and then you would get a 15-minute break, and then you would take the remaining 2, and then you would be done with the exam. Now the LSAT-Flex, since it's taken at home, is only 3 sections, so they dropped the 15-minute break and the remaining 2 sections afterward. It's basically the same thing though if you think about it, because you still have 1 of each section, you just don't have an extra logical reasoning section, and you don't have a random experimental section that's not even scored. So you just have 1 logic game section, 1 reading comprehension section, and 1 logical reasoning section, and they're all the same amount of questions that they would have been originally. And each of the sections are still 35 minutes. On the day and time that you signed up to take your exam, you're supposed to sign into ProctorU and click Start Session. Upon starting the exam, you will be asked to take a photo of yourself through your computer's camera, and then you will have to show your government issued ID, and it'll take a picture when you hold it up to your camera. And it cannot be a student ID, by the way. You will have to hold your laptop and slowly show your surroundings to the proctor, and then you'll have to show all your pieces of scratch paper front and back, and then you'll have to show your items that you have on your desk. When the proctor approves you, you will be asked to read the LSAT instructions aloud to the proctor, and then you will get directed to the Law Hub, which is where you take the LSAT, and then you may begin. After you begin the exam, you won't be allowed to talk to the proctor anymore, but there will be a little chat box in the corner. You can click and you can chat with the proctor in case you encounter any technical difficulties. I really wouldn't advise you to chat with the proctor at all because they're not going to pause your time or anything. Only use the chat box if you really encounter some big issue and you have to retake your exam or restart it, or don't just ask them a random question. Now let's talk about some things you're permitted to have on your desk on test day and you are not permitted to have. So you can have paper on your desk, obviously, if you want to work out the logic games, and diagram for logical reasoning. So you can have 5 pieces of blank paper, either white paper or lined paper. You can have pencils. Mechanical pencils are totally fine. You can have an eraser. You can have tissues. You can have water in case you get thirsty. You can have foam earplugs, which I highly advise you getting, and you can have a sharpener. Some things you may not have on your desk during the exam is a binder or a bunch of books and papers that obviously you can't have anything like that on your desk. You can't have electronics, you can't have a watch or clock. You also can't be wearing a watch or really wearing anything on your wrists. Just in general, like, keep your station clear. Don't have a bunch of stuff on your desk, even if it's not anything that's going to help you, because I think they'll ask you to move it. It's just, they don't know obviously if there's anything written on it, or it might even be distracting for you. So just keep your station clear. Some last few tips. As I just mentioned, don't wear anything on your wrists. I remember they asked me to hold my wrists up like this, so the proctor had to make sure there's nothing on my wrist. Oh, also don't have anything under your desk. So I have a TV on my desk and a DVD player under my desk, and they didn't like have a problem with that. They didn't tell me I had to move that, thank God. That would have been such a hassle. But don't have anything else. If it's something like plugged in that you really can't move, it's just like a hassle to move, leave it. But if it's anything, you know, that could make them like skeptical about you having that, then just move it. I highly advise you to make sure to keep an eye on your time. Make sure you don't get distracted that you're taking it at home or anything. Make sure your environment is quiet as possible. That's why I advise you guys to get foam earplugs, and yeah, just make sure to pay attention to that. Once you finish the exam, tear all your pieces of scratch paper in front of your camera, even if you didn't use them. At this time, tell your proctor through the chat that you've completed your exam, and then your exam will be submitted. Everyone gets their scores 3 weeks after taking the exam, so nobody will get it earlier than that. And on top of that, you have to take the LSAT writing before getting your score. Like, nobody can get their score before submitting an LSAT writing sample, so I advise you guys to promptly do so after taking the LSAT. In regards to the scoring, I just wanted to say one more thing. There's a new option which they made, I think, last month, I believe, or maybe the month before. It's called Scorepreview. If you're a first-time LSAT test taker, you can purchase this Score Preview. It's $45 before you've taken the exam, and it's $75 if you decide to get it after you've taken the exam. And what this does is you'll have the chance to see your score still 3 weeks after you take it, and then you'll have 6 days to choose whether you want to cancel your score or keep your score. And when you cancel it, schools will be able to see that you've canceled it, so they'll get like a cancel on your account, but they won't see what you got your first time, and then they'll only see your score after, or your scores after that first time. So that's also an option. I hope you found this video helpful and got your LSAT-Flex questions answered. If you still have any questions, please comment down below and I'll be happy to answer all of them. Make sure to check out the description box because I'll be leaving a lot of helpful links that I used in my journey to prepare for the LSAT-Flex. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, bye!